We are. We are live. Today is, what is it, the 8th, I believe? Here we are. Waiting for you guys to get in, get my little preparations going. See, it's today the 8th. So we got to get, our little buddy in here today because we're going to be naming him today. So we got a couple people in here now. Yeah. Let's see, we got a couple people. So what's up, Joe? How's it going, man? Good evening. So who else is in here? If you guys are in here, go give me a thumbs up, say hi, whatever. Don't be shy, guys. It's going. Same here, man. It's going. It has been a ridiculously humid day today, I'll tell you what, but still going, right? I see. See. How's it going, Bishop? Bishop George. Hello, sir. Same to you. Same in New Jersey. I hear you, man. So you're not too far from us. So see, so we got 8 people in here. We got 2 thumbs up. So how we get, the same amount of thumbs up as people in here? That would be a goal for one of these videos. That would be pretty cool. So if you guys would help out with that, that would be great. All right. So we're gonna get into it. How's it going, Emerson? Good to see you, Emerson Lamb. Anyone else in here today? See, we got 7 people. Got Joe. Let's see. Angelo, how's it going? Good evening to you, man. Good evening to you. I like the comment. I believe it was you commenting the other day about the revolver stuff. Good comment, man. Bishop, life us good, and yes, give those thumbs up. Absolutely, man. Give those thumbs up. It helps this channel grow. That's how these things work. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, and it grows, right? That's how it works. And we want to grow because we want to get to 50,000. Because once we get to 50,000, we're going to be doing a giveaway. So, nice here in Georgia. Nice day in Georgia. Nice, James. Nice. So, all right, so we got some people in here now. I was going. I spent literally like the last pretty much most of the day. What's up, James? Good to see you. Literally spent pretty much the last like 4 hours looking for recent comments and recent questions. And there's only really one question that came up with this. There was a couple political questions. And you know me, I'm not a big fan of doing the political stuff, so I'm not going to answer those questions on here. But there's only one real question, and I think it's a really good topic that I actually could find for tonight's video. So we're going to throw that in here. So I'll tell you about a little bit what's going to be coming up with the channel. We're going to name our alien here because I got a few names that everyone's been going over. One is the clear winner, but I won't, let you guys know just yet. So let's see. So we are just going to get into it. So we got 8 people in here. We got 4 thumbs up. Oh, come on, guys. 8 people, 4 thumbs up. Yeah, come on. It kind of goes hand in hand together. Whatever. So we'll get into it, guys. So this is a very, very long comment, but it's a good topic. This is about when I talked about the whole bolt action rifles for home defense. Now, if you want to see what that video was, that's the recent video that I released. Basically, it's talking about if you only have a bolt action rifle, and that is your only option. If you choose to have a bolt action rifle, just a few considerations you want to consider if you're planning on using that for home defense. That's where this comment slash question came into, and I think this is a really good one to bring up because I know a lot of people ask about this, or in general, I was like at the gun shop or in classes, people would ask me about this, and I think it's a good one. So we will get into it. All right, so this question came from a lightningassault.com. I don't know if it says it's a website, I guess, but this was the actual comment that he actually put in. And now I tried writing it down for word, but my handwriting is sloppy. All right, so it says, Matt, I'm curious how your considerations are for hearing damage slash protection affecting your choice of home defense weapon. I'd assume that in a home defense shooting scenario, most of the time a shot will be fired indoors without hearing protection, which will likely would cause permanent damage to hearing. I told you I have horrible handwriting. It says, of course, still better. Well, of course, that's still better than being dead. Yes, that's what it was. Now, still something you would have to live with on top of shooting a human being. So I am going to address that real quick. So I actually specifically talked to this guy in the comment about this. We went back and forth in the comment about it, but it's actually a good question to bring when it comes to home defense scenarios, because when we're talking home defense, usually when it's a home defense situation, that means someone's gonna be breaking into your home, usually in the middle of the night, daytime, something like that. Most likely, it usually happens in the middle of the night, and that is one fear that people do have. Well, if I do have to fire my firearm in a closed thing, I might be deaf for the rest of my life. What's the deal? How's that going to affect me? So I'll start off by saying like this. When I talk to people, if they don't talk loud enough, I have to turn my head this way just to hear them. And the reason behind that is because I had a main gun of a tank go off next to our fire team in the Baghdad warehouse district back in 2003 when we were securing the area and we were going behind the vehicles. It literally knocked me out. It was such a loud blast. They knew we were within 180 degrees of their cannon, but they still got kind of jumpy and they pulled the trigger. So actually, but no, ammo since the third landing. All right, so basically speaking, as an infantryman, we have, especially when you're in combat, I've done a lot of shooting overseas in actual theater or in real life situations, and at the same time on ranges. Obviously, I've done it on ranges. Now, in the military, when you're going to a range, you have to carry your hearing protection with you. That's kind of one of those things. And if you're on like a static range, then they actually check to make sure that your hearing protection is in. Now, there's been this lawsuit going around. I don't know if you guys have seen it for, I don't know, a couple years now about the hearing protection and stuff like that. And they keep saying if you were in service around this time, then you could be, you could get like a portion of this money from this lawsuit when it comes to hearing protection, because during this time they gave out defecting hearing protection. Well, let me tell you something. Yes, my hearing is shot, one, because of the tank, but two, because infantry guys, we don't wear hearing protection. Yeah, that's right. Us infantry guys that are on the line, that are actually in combat, we don't wear hearing protection. Um, that sounds crazy to some people who have never been in that type of situation, because whenever you go to a range, it's requirements. You always have to have hearing protection and stuff like that. In a real world combat situation, the number one thing that you need is communication. You have to have communication between your platoon, between your squad leaders, your fire teams, your company. You have the COP, the COP. You have to have communication with them, though, over at the FOB. You have to have constant communication with these people. Now, in most modern day video games and stuff like that, whenever they create an avatar for a character, they always have these big hearing protections in now. We didn't have that crap. We had the hearing protection that we carried on us because we had to have it on us. But when you're actually getting shot at and you're taking fire, you are shouting back and forth to each other with gunfire going off. So basically speaking, is our ears weren't shot because they gave us defective hearing protection. Our ears were shot because we couldn't use hearing protection overseas. Now that goes to when I was inside buildings. I've shot my M16A2 inside buildings a lot, and not just regular buildings, and like massive stone warehouse buildings to the point where it literally shudders up and down your body. The noise is so loud that goes into it. What happens is your ears ring, and they'll ring for maybe an hour or something like that, and then they feel kind of cloudy, and then you're back to where you were. So that's how it worked for us overseas. So when it comes to this specific question in the comment, what do you think about the hearing protection? If you fire a shot in your home, you are probably not going to go deaf. Um, More than likely, I've shot hundreds of thousands of rounds without hearing protection in, which is not a good practice to do in the civilian world. In combat, it's a lot different. So we do on ranges out there and stuff like that too, because we needed to kind of communicate. Sometimes we'd have to put, hearing protection in because that was what the range required. But a lot of times by the end of the range, either they had already popped out of our ears or something like that, and you're pretty much just talking back and forth to us. So I don't know how many thousands of rounds I've put down range without hearing protection. How's it going, John? Good to see you. Now, is it a good practice? No, it's not a good practice. But when you're in combat, you have to make those kind of exceptions when it comes down to that, because communication is key for absolutely everything. So as to the question, what are the considerations hearing protection? If you are doing a home defense situation, if you want to have hearing protection next to your home defense firearm, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, do it. But the number one priority in a situation like that should be defending your home. All right, should be defending your home. Your hearing, as much as, if you go to any ranges, they'll freak out if you don't have hearing protection is, your hearing will recover. If you do have to fire around, hopefully you don't have to fire around in the situation. Your hearing will eventually recover. If you do it a lot, like we did it, then your hearing doesn't recover so well, right? But even today, I'm not deaf, right? I'm not deaf at all. I can hear pretty good either way, just occasionally because the tank went off next to me. That's the only reason I can think about it, is it literally almost knocked me unconscious. So because that tank went off next to me, when someone's talking to me and they're a little bit quiet, I have to turn my head to make my left ear a little bit closer just so I can hear better. But when it comes to ARs, I've shot so many rounds downrange without hearing protection. And back in the 80s and stuff like that, back in the early stages of shooting sports, 70s, 80s, stuff like that too. People would actually be frowned on in the actual shooting community to have hearing protection. And now I'm not saying don't wear it. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying back then, if you wore hearing protection at a range, they looked at you as a pansy. And that's kind of how they were back then. So most people didn't wear it back then. So a lot of old timers and shooters, their hearing isn't the greatest because of that. But yes, if you have to fire a couple rounds off in your house, it will not make you completely deaf. Can it damage your hearing? Absolutely. How's it going, Arcturus barbecue and sausage making? That sounds pretty yummy right now. But will it mess up your hearing? Yes, it was told. Yeah, it was told to open your mouth. Yeah, especially when you go to, because Zora, I'm horrible with last names. When big explosions, yeah, you open your mouth. When big explosions, you open your mouth. But actual regular shooting, when you're running, you're just sitting there and you have no hearing protection. And you're just listening to what everyone else is going on. Usually it's firearms training in the dark, strobes going on, no hearing protection. Exactly. So basically speaking, in the real world scenario, if you're defending yourself, you're probably not going to have a good ear pro in. Yeah, exactly what he said. What John's saying right there is, for home defense, a good light is a lot more important than ear pro, and he's got a point with that too. Because when it comes to a situation like that, you need to identify your target. All right, you need to identify your target before you engage the target. Now we'll talk a little bit about what you need to do in a situation like that. If someone is breaking into your house, I've done this a lot. I've talked a lot about this in the video. First of all, your family needs to be aware of this is a possibility. So you have to talk to your family. You have to get your family in on this. This is a possibility that could happen. I've talked to my kids about it. I've talked to my wife about it. When it comes to someone breaking in the house, you are not going to go Rambo. You should not be going Rambo like a lot of the tactical channels tell you, go clear the house by yourself and stuff like that. You should not be doing that as all that. I will talk about that here, John. So keep that in my mind for my main minute. So weapon light versus flashlight. So you are not going to go Rambo with some breaks in your home. What you need to do is you need to have a plan in place where you need to use your house for, it depends on your layout of the house. If you can't do it because the layout's different, then you can't. But for like me, I have a specific layout plan of the house where I use the bottlenecks and whatnot, where I put myself in a defensive position between my family, all right, my family, keeping myself in a safe place with my family. I am on the phone with 911, or my wife is on the phone with 911 on speakerphone, so they can document every single thing that is going on in this, because after the shooting is done, if you do have to shoot, that is not the end of it. You will find yourself in court, because that's just how this thing works, right? There will be a police investigation into it. So if you have that on speakerphone, then they're recording every single thing that's going on in that house, everything that you're telling the people. So you have to be telling the people, I am armed, get out of my house. If you do not get out of my house, I will defend myself. I will defend my family. I am armed, get out of my house, is what you need to be saying. Now, if they still decide to engage you, that's when, low light training comes in handy when it comes to flashlights and stuff like that too. But you need to be able to identify that target, because for all you know, one of your kids could have run down in the middle of the night to you go to the bathroom or something like that. And now they're trying to run up the stairs to get back to where you are. So you need to identify what is down there before you actually pull the trigger. So you need some sort of light to be able to identify what is going on to the best of your ability. Now, because of my wife doesn't like a light on the actual gun, I actually have a hand flashlight nearby, and I know how to use it when it comes to a gun. All right, so I have a hand flashlight right nearby where I can use that to identify the target. My home defense pistol, which is basically I chose because, which was M17, Basically, I chose that because my wife can handle it. My wife likes to shoot it, along with I'm really good with shooting it too. All that's on there is a Crimson Trace laser. Now, what that does is that just helps you take shots from a covered position in darkness, which is where that would come in handy. But you still need to identify the target before you actually engage the target. So it is a good idea to have some sort of flashlight. Now, ideally, having a gun mounted light is better than having a flashlight. That's right, having a plan is the hardest part, and going to keep the dogs back. Oh, there you go. That the hardest part is going to keep the dogs back. I see what you're saying. So you have a plan. The hardest part is going to keep your dogs back. No, I understand that. But your life and your family's lives are more important than the dogs. I know it sucks if some people may say that, but at least for us, that's how it is. For what comes down to that. So a weapons mounted light is going to be better than a hand flashlight because you can be aimed in, you have full control of that firearm you're aiming in. You can identify the target. Now, there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. If you're in a narrow hallway, if that light, you turn that on when you're in the hallway, that light is going to come spill and flood back onto you. So they'll be able to see every single thing that you are doing on the top of it when you're trying to identify them. So what you need to do is don't turn the light on until it's around a hallway. That's when you turn the light on, whether it's with your shooting thumb or your primary thumb. You turn the light on, or your finger, however you want to do it. You turn the light on, identify it down the hallway, quickly turn that light off, and then the best thing to do is shift to a different position, because if that light is super bright, even if it isn't super bright, it is going to temporarily blind them in the darkness, and then you move to another position where if they do engage a position, they're going to engage the position you just identified them from. So if they engage that direction and there's nothing behind it, everyone's in a safe spot, you are going to be safer because you're no longer over there, you're now over there, right? So if they shoot that way, you got clear shot onto them. So my Rottweiler will just find a person, I will just assist. You never know. So you never know, James. You just never know when it comes to situations like that. So yes, honestly, I think a weapons mounted light is a lot better of an option than a hand mounted flashlight, but you still need to identify your target one way or the other. So choose one or choose the other. Not every gun has a rail, right? So you just need to use a flashlight. There's a couple ways that you could do it. So if I'm right-handed, I'd be holding on the back of my hands, actually putting pressure on my hands like this, identifying it that direction. The other one is, if you have a smaller one, you could actually put it between your fingers, and when you're holding it, it's down here. Is it ideal grip? Not at all. That's for me. I'd rather do it this direction when I'm actually aiming in when it comes down to it. But you identify, move to another place, and then engage them if you have to engage them. But the key is telling them that you are out of the house, letting them know you are armed, because everything you're saying is being documented when you're on the phone with 911. So you will cover yourself in the court. They will cover everything that you're doing. And if you do have to engage them you won't end up in jail. You want to go through that whole process, right? So I just going on that. So basically, it was basically one question is all this started out with. It's basically about the hearing protection, and I just agreed with him when it comes to that. Do you need hearing protection for home defense? If you want hearing protection for home defense, go for it. But when it comes to me, my family, the defense of my family is a lot more important than figuring out of putting my earbuds on or putting my hearing protection on the right time. And I have no problem shooting without hearing protection in because I'm used to it. Is it going to be loud? Is it going to be ringing in your ears? Your ears are going to feel cloudy? Yes, it's going to feel cloudy for a little bit, but afterwards you'll recover and it'll get back. Will your hearing be a little bit less? Yeah, it might be a little bit less afterwards. More than likely, it probably won't be. All right. So I hope that answered his question. Then we got into the whole light situation. So there's that answer on that. I recommend a weapons mounted light over a hand mounted light, but hand mounted light over a hand flashlight, but either one works very well. If you can shoot the gun with it, just make sure you practice the actual techniques. Now, so we answered that question. So now what we're going to get into, guys, because if you guys remember at the end of my last video, I said at the end of the video, I wanted everyone that has a name for this guy over here, all right, to come out and write down in the comments when it comes to the name, so I can come with something that I really like, or whichever one gets the most votes, or I wouldn't say both, so most people support, and actually name this guy. So I'm going to read some of these names that I got. There wasn't that many, surprisingly. Not too many people did it. So I'll go over the names that we have, what you have, and I'll tell you which one is the 100% winner, and then that's what we'll be calling this dude shortly. So here's one of the first names. One of the first names. Missed it, Pedro. All right, so here it is. So the first name is right here. Yeah, that's why I put it at the end of the video, guys. I wanted to see who actually stayed through the entire video, right? I wanted to see who would stay during the entire video so they would actually, get that stuff at the end of it and be able to vote on it. So here we are. So the very first name is Avery the Alien. All right, that was one of the names I saw. Avery the Alien. It was kind of cool. Now this one, I'm going to give you 100 for creativity, and it got me laughing a little bit. So Polly the Prober. Yeah, I was like, oh no, I don't think it's a good name for that, but that was the other name. Polly the Prober was the second name that someone decided to put on there. Now the next name was Marzio. Marzio, so like Mars, but Zio, I guess. So Marzio was the other name. Now the next name would be Elvis. So you can't go wrong with Elvis, right? Can't go wrong with Elvis. Then after that was Bob. Yeah, Alien Bob, cool, why not? And then it was Hank. All right, so Hank was the other name. And then the final name that actually someone submitted on that was Mr. EBE. So EBE means extraterrestrial biological entity. So out of all these names, there was only one that multiple people thumbed up and second and said, you got to go with this name. And that one would be Elvis. This dude is officially named Elvis. So it's funny because I was thinking about that. I've always been a gamer and stuff like that. When I saw that name come up, I started laughing a little bit because if there's the theory behind Elvis being an alien, all this other, it's just fun stuff that put out there. But if you guys are like me and you grew up back in the 90s, yep, there you go, Angel. If you grew up back in the 90s and stuff like that, is if you guys remember N64, oh yeah, man, N64 was cool. So that was early thousands or whatever. N64 was just an awesome system at the time, and they had a couple really good games like GoldenEye. One of my favorite games was actually Perfect Dark. And there's Alien 50 or Area 51 mission where you actually meet up with an alien, and then he's actually a friend, and then he kind of supports you and stuff like that too. And it just so happens that Gray, all right, even though this guy's green, his name was Elvis. So when I saw the name, I just couldn't help but laugh a little bit. But that's what the people like the best, so they're giving that one the thumbs up and stuff like that too. So that's right. So he is now Elvis. All right. So we got Elvis the alien that's out there. So anyway, so we covered the one real question that I had. I mean, there's so the only other questions were political questions, and I'm not a big fan of answering that. So I'm opening the chat up to you guys. If you have any questions for me, just want to talk or anything like that, feel free, guys. I am right here. So if you want to talk about guns, cool. If you want to talk about Elvis, go ahead. That's cool. Like me, I've been getting back into Warzone. If you want to talk about Warzone, that's cool too, guys. I'm here. So the floor is open to you. So we'll be doing this for however long it goes, or if no one comments, then we'll just call it a night. So go ahead and answer some or ask some questions, or just start a chat or whatever, guys. Well, I will give you a quick announcement. I'm having a couple more reviews coming up. I'm actually getting excited. I might have another partnership coming up. So I have a couple more reviews that are going to be coming up. I'll be leaving to you, and you'll see those hopefully within the next 2 weeks. You'll be seeing those come up, and then we'll go from there. Thought about 30-06, thinking about changing caliber. It's up to you, man. 30-06 is a great caliber. Emerson, 30-06 is a great caliber. It really gets the job done well. You can drop any two-legged, four-legged animals out there. And it was actually a popular military caliber. But it's different because if you look at like the M1 Grands, I never quite understood how it worked. Like an M1 Garand, the originals were like a special type of military 30-06, which wasn't really 30-06, which I don't understand how that works. So if you guys can, let me know how that works, then feel free. But if you want to get M1 Garand ammunition, you have to get M1 Garand 30-06 ammo compared to just standard hunting 30-06 ammo. So that's just, I just thought it was one of those weird things. So, but yeah, no, if you want to go a different caliber, go for it. 30-06 is a great caliber too as well, guys. No. All right, so any more questions, comments, chats, whatever it is, I am right here with you guys. This is Saturday night, so this is where we do these chats. No. Give you a warning when they do come up. I only see about one question at a time unless they're small, then I might see two because I'm doing this on my phone. It's just so much, I'm in the basement. It's just so much easier to do these videos in my basement. I actually got the fan on because it's been so nasty out in the last couple, today. So I will tell you this, guys, I am pooped this week, so I'm all roller coastered out. My wife, did you finally give up on those IPAs? Yeah, I gave up those IPAs, man. Well, there's a couple reasons I'm not really drinking anymore. So one reason I did give up on the IPAs, there was a while back was channel for, it was, I don't know, I think I did it for over a year, even longer than that. Is I did Beer with Matt, was like Friday Night Live with Beer with Matt. I actually did 2 live videos a night. So if you guys like John, he was in there a lot and stuff like that too. That's why he's a moderator. I used to do those videos a lot, but it just got difficult doing the whole lives, and then YouTube started putting all these like restrictions on what can be done in live videos when it comes to firearms and guns. And every single one of those, we were showing guns and stuff like that, and you can actually get strikes on your channel if you do that. At least that's what happened at the time. So whenever I do live videos, I don't get into guns. I don't pull guns out or anything like that. And all those videos, I actually deleted them because there's pretty much guns in live videos, and they could strike you. I had a discussion with work buddy who was 11 Bravo on employing small arms and squad tactics, military, policing, personnel, defense out in real life world has, and how the world is different. All right. So yes, it is very different. There's a difference between combat in real life, and there's a difference between defense in the civilian world. So combat in the war life, I guess you could say that, or the combat zone, is very different. Like in our world, in the civilian world, it comes down to stopping an enemy before they stop you. And you have to have good shots because you could injure someone else, you get sued, you could be charged for something else. You have that. Whereas combat, we do our best to avoid any type of collateral. But when we start taking fire from a building, we don't just try to take a well-aimed shot. We pretty much put suppressive fire on that specific area, which means a lot of rounds. Everyone's shooting on that area, so you can maneuver into place or move it over to cover or maneuver to a better firing position. And then you could either call in an airstrike to actually take it out, or if you were like us, because we didn't do a ton of airstrikes at the time when I was out there, we would put suppressive fire in the building, then we'd work our way and clear every building, trying to get that building that we know that we'd have like the machine gunners on or the O331s on and stuff like that, just so they could hold security on that. We knew that was a threat building, but in order to get the threat building, you had to clear the buildings that were in the way, because for all you know, those other buildings could be threat buildings that would come, with people that come up behind you. So we clear whatever buildings it would take to get to that main building, and we'd move our different squads. So you'd have one on this side, we have Overwatch over here, we have one squad over here, another squad over here. We have the area cordoned off. We'd have inner cordon, outer cordon. For those, what it is you have the inner cordon, which is like actually inside the building in the compound. Every building in Iraq had fences. The outer cordon was basically on the outside of the fence, and then there was actual cordon on the out in the entire street area, so you could see anyone coming in and out. So you'd have the ready team, you have the the support team, the assault team, and security team. So security teams would do the cordons, and then the inner cordon would actually be part of the security team, and then the assault team would go through, and then once the assault team is going through, the inner cordon people would become a support team, and they'd actually start punching through after they knew everything was cleared, and then we cleared the building. So there's a lot that goes into taking one objective or one to threat when you're actually in combat, whereas in the civilian world, someone pulls a gun, they shoots at you, you shoot back, and you hope you don't get hurt. You don't hope other people don't hurt, and that's pretty much what you do. Whereas in combat, there's a lot of different maneuvering. There's strategy, tactics, actual real world tactics that you have to get to move onto specific buildings, and it's very different in combat than it is in the civilian world when it comes to shooting issues and whatnot. So, like I said, I could go on and on about that, but you guys would just be all confused and twisted because there's a lot that goes into taking a simple objective. So there goes a lot to take a simple objective. Now I'll get back to the IPA or the IPAs. I used to do a beer with Matt all the time, and I loved it. It was kind of fun. We just kind of hang out session, do it for like an hour or something like that. I'd be drinking a couple beers and we'd just be talking. It was just a fun little time that I got to do it. If you guys remember, a while back, several months back, I had to go in for surgery. I was having serious issues with my legs. I had what's called basically it's not like a vascular disease, like heart disease. Grapefruit and chip socks. There you go. Yeah, grapefruit and chip socks. Yeah, that was. Oh man, don't even get me started on that one. God, that was a local brewery. Oh my God, that was bad. That was a really bad one. They're out of Brantford, Connecticut. I don't remember the name, but man, that was a really bad one. But basically, if you guys remember, I was out for months because I was having vein issues in my leg. I have varicose veins; they were twisted on. I had to go in for surgery, and I was having blood clots in my legs and stuff like that. Well, in that time, I had to go in and out and get a lot of blood work. I wasn't moving around very much. I wasn't walking much, which was making it difficult to get out here and do the videos or anything like that. It's just too much of a hassle for me. And what happened in that time, they realized that with my blood work, I had another issue. And what that issue is, I forgot the exact name it is for it. But basically, yeah, local brewery is a hit or miss. But basically speaking, is what happened is my body, I forgot the exact name. If you guys know the name for it, go ahead and put it in its a fancy name and stuff like that, is produces and stores a lot more iron than your average person, or a lot more heavy metals than your average person. So because of that, those heavy metals can be stored in your pancreas, and one of the biggest failures is pancreas or liver failure. So they said I have a high probability of getting that later in life. So they recommended that the best thing that I do is to stop drinking. That's just a good start. I wasn't a big drinker in the first place. I've never been a big drinker. I mean, occasionally I'll have like a wine, or like I had a six pack which like lasted a whole week and stuff like that too. But basically, when it comes down to drinking beer like I used to, I just don't do it anymore. Just because of they said that could catch on to me. I'm coming up to 40 soon. I'm only 37 right now, but I'm getting up to that top of that hill. And you know what is I got my three kids and stuff like that, and I want to have a long life for them. So I want to be the best type of person I can be for them. So that means stop drinking, because that can actually cause a medical issue that I'm going to. So as much as I'd want to go out and drink a beer with you guys like I used to do all the time, so I don't do it anymore, guys. So sorry, but I still drink my coffee. I still drink a ton of water, stuff like that. Like I said, my wife, she likes what is they called, Moscatos. So I have some Moscato every now and then. Like last week, I had a barbecue with my parents over, so I got a six pack of Bud Light or a Budweiser. So we had a little bit. So I'm not like completely off the wagon, I guess you could say, but I just don't do it much anymore. Wait till you hit 60. Oh man, don't even get me started. Even right now, with all everything that I've done in my life, when it came to the military background, all the hard labor that I did in my younger years and stuff like that. I mean, just everything hurts, man. Every movement I do just hurts. I'm like, oh, I don't want to get to 60. It's like what they say every year as someone at active duty infantry, is what they say. It's like, was it 7 years on your life and on your joints? Or so yeah, 7 years of damage, like heavy duty on your joints or something like that. I don't remember the exact statistics of it. I just know is nowadays I'm literally a 70% service connected disabled veteran. I have osteoarthritis in both my knees. I have vein issues. I had to get surgery, and oh god, it sucks. So my kids call me old, and every day I get more gray in the beard. So, but whatever, man, I'm here. I'm good to go. So we're still doing videos. We're still kicking off. My kids are great, and we're in a good position right now. So but anyway, I go on ranting on about that. So we'll get off the heavy, guys, and off the serious stuff. So do you guys have anything else that you want to talk about, or just hang out with me with, or you want to talk about Elvis or something like that? Because I'm right here. If you guys have known me for any period of time, so on top of guns, I like doing other stuff too. So I like playing Warzone. I've gotten back into that lately, and I've always that game has always been. I don't know if anyone here plays Warzone, so comment if you do. Gray, so tell them it's a blonde. Yeah, does anyone in here play Warzone? Anyone at all? So just go ahead and comment if you play it or anything like that. So maybe you have some tips for me, because I ain't that good at it. Anyone plays Warzone, go ahead and comment. If not, then whatever. But I've gotten back into Warzone because I do some gaming. PS4, I do Xbox. Emerson, I do Xbox. And I've always been kind of against Warzone because it's so just unrealistic to me. I mean, you're not jumping off buildings in full kit from like 30 feet and, not breaking your legs and stuff like that. You can't fire at someone full automatic from 300 yards away, or in that game 100, 200 yards away. You're not unloading fully automatic at someone with accurate shots to hit them. And if you fire like a 50 caliber round at someone and you hit them, they can't just change out plates, right? And then come back and bounce and bunny hop and jump behind you and, get you in the back. So that's one thing that always bothered me about Warzone. And I was like, man, this just sucks. But I've been trying to put that aside, because whenever I play Warzone, I kind of get into the actual tactical mindset and stuff like that. But real world tactics don't work in that game, because there's no such thing as real world tactics in a fake game like that. So I've been kind of sucky at it, and I've turned into a little bit of a camper. So, but anyways, I can get in that if you guys want to talk about Warzone. If not, thought I would ask you about your Beretta 92. Have you modified it at all? All I've ever done for my standard 92 is actually the M9. Is all I've done is change the grips. When it comes to my 92X, the only thing I've done that I got some Langdon Tactical, I believe they're Spartan
the Spartan night sights. I got them installed. Next to that, I have no need to modify the Berettas. I mean, they're just such good shooters. They just work so well. I just have no need to modify them. And the only gun I don't think I've never heavily modified any of my guns. Even my 1911, the extent of what I did is I changed out the grips, I put night sights on it, and I changed out the full-length guide rod to a GI guide rod just because I prefer the GI guide rod. But I've never actually fully modified any guns or anything like that because I just don't see the need to. When a gun that works and comes out of factory, the people know what they're doing when they put it, so I'm good to go. So I like the lighter hammer spring and the steel trigger. If you go for it, man. So me, I literally don't do any modifications to my weapons. So other than I like changing out my sights. I obviously can't do that with the M9 or the 92 because they're actually the ones that are milled into the actual slide itself. But when it comes to 92X, those are ones that I can put in, and those are just dovetailed in and whatnot. So I did change that. That was tough, finding sights for the 92X. But like I said, I went to Langdon Tactical, and they obviously had them because they have Beretta stuff. So that worked for me. You know, I will probably be getting another gun here in the next couple of weeks, another pistol in the next couple of weeks. I have a general idea of what I want, but I won't know until I actually go and pick it up. And once I get it, I'll do a review here for you guys, just like I always do. And then I usually end up getting holster stuff. So looking for a DMR. What good gun for that? I'm going with the M1. A for that. You can't go wrong with the M1A, man. You just can't go wrong with the M1A, M14, however you want to call it. It's a good mid-range weapon. It reaches out to 650 plus. There were, hey, nothing wrong with 250, man. You remember that. So I used to have one of those. Things were great. It was one of my most popular videos. Was okay, but I never liked the 9mm. I liked the 357. Yeah, I agree with that. I like the 357 Magnum better. I just like the function. I'm not a huge 9mm fan, but most of my pistols are 9mm because that's just what's available out there when it comes to ammo. I have 145. That's my 1911. I have a 38, which is another nice little snubby. But next to that, I just have 9mm handguns because most guns that you find nowadays are 9mm. Ah, nice. From a tree stand somewhere in Georgia. Nice, Arsenal. Have you get to see that snow out there yet? Let's see. So we got any more questions or anything else that anyone want to add to this? Otherwise, we're going to call it an end to the video. So I'm kind of boring. I'm boring on camera. So I don't know how to keep conversations going most of the time. So if you guys ask me something, I'll do it. Damn, nope, just clearing hogs. Nothing wrong with that. Yo, what's up? Mache Levine, AR 9mm versus PDW, i.e. Stilbrog, SIG, MPX, Chris Vetcourse. AR 9mm. Honestly, when I look at it, I look at them all as like some sort of personal defense weapon. Mainly speaking, because a 9mm is a pistol cartridge, and when you put it in a longer barrel, it doesn't increase the velocity. Yes, it increases the velocity of the round, but that's about it. I mean, whether it's AR or the MCX or something like that, it's pretty much doing the same thing, right? It's just increasing the velocity of the round. So I don't know much about them because I don't stick with them. You know, I don't do anything when it comes to, 9mm long guns. If I want a long gun, I want a long caliber. So if my primary long gun is my 308. I think that's a great caliber. I also have a 12 gauge. It's another good one. But also out here, there's different laws that we can do. How's ammo inventory in your area? Not looking good. Not looking good, man. My 9 is running pretty low, so I got my little sets up here. I got my 9 over here, my 45 over here. Plenty of 12 gauge stuff. My 9's running low. 9's running low. 45 is I have more 45 than I have 9mm. When I did go to get some more 9, all they had available was defensive ammo. That's all they had. So I got 3 boxes. I went over $100 on defense ammo because that's all they had. Because where can I get some 44 Magnum? I guess it was in a dream. I don't know where 44 Magnum is anymore. I can't find 9mm. I can't find 45. I can't find 40. All I can really find these days is, shotgun stuff if I'm lucky. And that's about it. Like where I go, yeah, I believe it is, man. 37 Magnum, I could see that too. So it's just a shitty situation for everyone right now. And excuse my language, YouTube, but it's a shitty situation for us gun people out there when it comes to ammo. There's what they say. There were so many more. I don't remember the exact statistics. I did a video. I talked about it, but there's so many more gun owners, millions of gun owners in the last couple of years that no one ever saw that amount of people coming into it. And then there's also more hunters that are actively participating in it. 458 is running strong. Well, that's good. Gun show ammo prices are still so everything's stupid. maybe I was playing a 9mm here, but there's no 44 mag. Oh, yeah, I hear you. I mean, yeah, it's like when I want to go to ammo, I can't find it at any local shops. It's sad. It's where I've gone, they just don't have ammo in stock. The only place I've been able to find ammo is Cabela's. And when I go to Cabela's, I mean, literally, the ammo is usually on the second floor in the Hartford Cabela's. Usually on the second floor with the guns and stuff like that too. Now you go up there and there's like no ammo up there. You're like, wow, what the heck? And all these shelves had like cardboard on it. You have to go downstairs to the register, and behind the register, they have a specific register set up for ammo, right? And that's all it is. And it's kind of hit or miss. Like when I went there, the only ammo I could find was defensive 9mm, and they had literally. I was looking for more 45 too. They had literally just run out with 45 before. I'm like, great. So I still have more 45 than I have 9mm, and I'm just like, man, I was hoping to get more because I'd like a little bit more than what I have. So I can't shoot that much as much as I like to. That's where I go to like the Mantis X, and I go to my training and stuff like that. That's, you guys don't remember what the Mantis X is? That is, do I have it up here right now? It's just probably locked away right now. But Mantis X, I set it up on the rail of the gun. It's like a system that you can actually drop my thingy. But it's like a system that actually registers all your movements and stuff like that too. I have thought about reloading, but I've never been a fan of it. I've just had too many horror stories with reloading. I'd rather let the professional do it. So I'm not a huge fan of Blue Falcon Suck. I'm not a huge fan of reloading as much as I'd like to. Like I said, this too many horror stories when it comes to reloaded. I've seen too many guns have been exploded because of people reloading. Me, I'd rather leave it to professionals who know what they're doing, right? That's just how I roll. So I've never been that type of thing. Check Hunter's Arsenal and Ryan Cunt George for 9mm. He ships also. That's pretty cool. So I mean, like, we're pretty much wherever you go out here in Connecticut, it's you can barely find it. I mean, out in general in Connecticut, like there's how's Vetter holster? Oh, Vetter's still doing good, man. That's my favorite holster for my Beretta. Absolutely my favorite holster for Beretta. I'll probably end up getting another one for the next gun I get because I'm getting I'm getting a light that's with it, and I know it's a newer light and they won't have those ones available. So I know Vetter does actually have them available. Dry fire, exactly. That's what it is. Dry fire like there's no tomorrow. Like I use my Mantis X systems. I use the Mantis X, and I also use the Laser Training Academy that they have, or Laser Academy that they have, where they go the Training Academy. It just helps me. It doesn't have the same motions of the recoil and stuff like that too. But you can still work on your trigger pull. You can still work on your draws and stuff like that. It can still keep you active. So when you do go to a range, you're still on the money when you actually get out there and you actually do find the ammo to do it. Now another thing when it comes to ammo shortage, there's also you have to stop just shooting a ton, and you have to start learning to have quality shooting. You have to learn about target shooting, place bullseye shooting, stuff like that. You have to get good at shooting, but you can't do it with 500 rounds. I mean, you gotta do better drills. We can actually narrow it down if you have less ammunition, and don't just burn through the ammo unless you really want to. You take your time, make every single shot count, because that training helps you in the long run. And I've always been like that all the time. I've never been a huge, ammo waster on the range. I do. It's the seventh, dude. It's it's the seventh. There you go. So that's good to know. So I wasn't sure because my watch is off. So, but basically, is whenever I go to shooting live at the range and stuff like that too, I prefer quality shooting over quantity of shooting. Right. That's just how I've always been. When I went to 6 Hour Academy, we had to get 500 rounds of ammunition. So we go out, we get 500 rounds of ammunition, and it's just like funny. Like when I'm out there, people brought even more ammo than that, and I'm at the range doing everything they're saying at 6 Hour Academy, just learning where my mistakes are. And there's a lot of people who are out there just like unloading. And I'm like, dude, do what the instructor says, man. He's trying to teach you something. Just because you can shoot fast doesn't mean you should shoot fast, and especially judging on your group, you really need to slow it down some, right? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, right? That's the saying that the military, the infantry guys, we live by. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Doesn't mean you could be super slow. It just means you need to find that balance when you have quality over speed, right? So you're thorough, you're fluent in what you're doing compared to just rushing through it, going super fast, and just unloading everything. It just doesn't work like that in real life. So, all right. So, any other questions out there, or anything anyone else wants to talk about? If not, we're going to call it a night. So. Hi, Cheyenne, Wyoming in the house. Nice to go. I get some family out in Wyoming. So, let's see. A slower hit is better than a faster miss. Exactly. You could miss really fast, or you could hit the target. That's what I like to say. Also been working with an air rifle far more. Yeah, too. BB guns is a good way to go too. So BB guns or air rifles in general, ammo's still probably still out there. So you still practice your marksmanship when it comes to that. So. Let's see. Anything else? Let's see. I'm looking. I'm seeing if anyone's commenting here. All right, so I am going to call it a night, guys. So we've had a good about a 45-minute, session. So just checked, just checked first time right there. Well, not sure what you're saying, but maybe you just checked in the first time, maybe. But anyway, so for those of you who are in here, thank you for joining me. Thank you for going live with me. Thank you for these little things we do. These videos are for you. So this is me answering the questions that I come across. Unfortunately, there's only really one question in the last 2 weeks that I've pretty gotten. So, do I still carry the Rock Island? Yes, I do. I do, especially when I'm in a T-shirt. I love the 1911. That is probably my best shooting gun. If I'm not carrying my 92X, I'm carrying my 1911. It's good seeing you. Good seeing you too, Arsenal. Good seeing you too. So, all right. So we are calling it a night, guys. So once again, thanks for joining me. So we have 23 people in right now. So don't forget, I'm doing every video. I'm doing a video on Monday. I release a video Monday night. I release a video Wednesday night, and then Saturday nights or 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, I will be doing these live videos, these question and answer sessions, these hangout sessions, whatever you want to call them. So every Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time is when I'm doing this video. So feel free to join me. All right. So anyway, guys, thanks for stopping in today. And it is good to see you. It's good to be with you. So remember, guys, it's our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other. Peace.